Greetings YouTube and welcome back to another vlog. So anyway, how are you all doing today? I hope everyone's doing great. So yeah, I've decided to come back and make another vlog. I know I said I was going to take a few weeks off from doing these vlogs, and the reason for that was, I don't know, I lost a little bit of motivation and I don't know, I just wasn't feeling my usual self. I don't know why. I don't know. I just felt a little bit burnt out, and it was getting to the point where it was getting harder and harder for me to think of the topics to discuss. But after taking a little bit of a break and doing a few videos, I mean, yeah, I would have liked to have done more, but I've been extremely busy. But I'll tell you what, taking a little bit of break from the vlogs has done me great, because it's getting to the point where not only did I run out of stuff to talk about, but I was starting to get a bit stressed and a bit worked up, and I'm like, no, what's the point of making a video if you're only going to make yourself worse? And it didn't help with the last couple of weeks being extremely busy. And although things are still a bit busy now with life, I've managed to find a bit more time today, and I thought, I'm gonna do a vlog. I feel more confident. So anyway, what shall we be talking about today? Well, there's a few things. So first and foremost, I want to say a massive thank you to the recent subscribers to the channel. I wasn't expecting to see the amount that I did, particularly on the last 3 videos I did. That Commodore 64 video, Jesus Christ, I was not expecting to see the number of views it got. I mean, it ended up getting, like, the last I checked, it was like just over 1,500 views, and it's apparently my most viewed video on my channel, which I was not expecting it to be, because all I was simply doing was just compiling my favorite games for the Commodore 64, and then I did like 2 videos on the Amiga. I've done another part of like the Amiga music, because I hadn't done one of them for some time, and then I decided to do like a top 20 list with the Amiga games, and yeah, and I don't know, people have enjoyed it. While I haven't been getting as many comments, it doesn't bother me, because, as I say, as long as you enjoy the video, that's all that matters. I don't expect comments or anything like that, but as I say, the ones that I do get really do mean an awful lot. So, yeah, thank you. And yeah, I'm now currently on 170 subs, which, let's be honest with you, when I first started YouTube, I did think I'd be seeing those sorts of numbers. I thought, yeah, I'll be lucky if I get anything more than 50 or like 20. But really, the numbers don't really matter. I'm just happy to see that everyone else is enjoying the stuff, because I make the videos that I want to make, and I know that people enjoy. I'm not one of those people who just make videos just for the sake of making a video and just for views. But yeah, that Commodore 64 video did the top 30. I know, I don't know, that video somehow managed to trigger the algorithm, and it got a bit excited. I don't know how. I'm sorry my eyes are watering, because I've got yeah, you know me by now. Yeah, stupid allergies, and we're in spring now, so what do you expect? And one thing that you may have noticed is that that's right, I am wearing a brand new pair of glasses, which I picked them up from the opticians yesterday, because I haven't been for an eye test in just over 2 years, and yeah, so yeah, I use them for distance, because yeah, if I take my glasses off, I cannot see anything that's like anything that's like further away. So yeah, But yeah, other than buying some new glasses, I haven't really done much buying with other items due to being busy. But yeah, but all I can say is I'm feeling a lot better than what I did because the last couple of vlogs, I'll be honest with you, I didn't enjoy making them as much because I don't know, it just felt like as if I didn't put as much effort into them as I had done previously. But I mean, some weeks are better than others, and I'm hoping now that it's upwards and onwards. I nearly got those two mixed up, but yeah, you get the gist. So yeah, what else shall we be talking about? But you know what? I think I will be talking about my favorite platform games ever made, and we're going to the PlayStation 1, which is my favorite console of all time, the console that means the most to me out of more than all the others. So yeah, where do we begin? And I think you know which series I'm on about. I mean, I'll give you a clue. It's not Spyro the Dragon, though those games are pretty good. Even though I think the first Spyro was the best one. I'll be honest with you, the first Spyro was the best. Because in Spyro 2 and Year of the Dragon, you have other characters like Hunter and all that lot making you do side missions. I mean, Spyro 2 and Spyro 3, all that game was, it was a massive bloody escort mission. It was quite annoying, but had well designed levels, but some of the other tasks. And you have to help characters like Hunter. He's like, hey Spyro, I want you to do this. Hey Spyro, can you go over here? Hey Spyro, can you do that task for me? And hey Spyro, yeah, fuck off. I mean, I just want to enjoy the game. I just don't want to do stupid bloody tasks just to 100% the game. I mean, I don't mind doing tasks and doing extra missions if they're fun, but most of the missions that they make you do are anything but. And yeah, particularly in Spyro Year of the Dragon, though, where you have to play as other characters. And even though, as a game, it probably is the best one, the best made one, Year of the Dragon, it's not as, I don't think it's as good as Spyro 1, because Spyro 3 may have the most amount of ideas, but it gives you too much, and I don't know the stuff where it feels like well, actually, you are jumping the shark, if you know what that expression means. But yeah, you're doing stuff like you're doing boxing with like a fucking Yeti. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yes, the first Spyro game didn't do that, but yeah, enough of Spyro. Because I'll tell you what my favorite platform games are, and yeah, I've got the first three games though, because the first three in this main series were on the PlayStation 1, and the series did take a bit of a hiatus, but it did come back. But yeah, I'm talking about the legendary Crash Bandicoot. So yeah, the original Crash Bandicoot, believe it or not, this was the very first video game I ever completed as a kid. Because before then, I was shit at video games, and I still am. But it wasn't until the PlayStation 1 when I started actually completing quite a few games, and I've beaten a few ever since. But yeah, this is the first game I ever completed. I was about 6 years old when I first beat Crash. Not 100% because this game, even now, is still pretty damn hard. I mean, well, pretty damn hard if you're collecting everything. But if you're just playing through the game normally now, I don't think it's too bad. But yeah. But yeah, I'm if I have more time, I'm hoping to do the PlayStation 1 collection. But yeah, I think I'll talk a little bit about Crash 1, and then I'll talk about the second and third game. But yeah, one thing I will say though is the game isn't too bad, but if you're collecting everything for 100%. You need to you need to have patience though, because in order to 100% Crash Bandicoot 1, yeah, I'm talking about this game specifically. If you're going to collect the gems, the only way you could do that is you must break every single box in each level. You have to break every single box without dying once. That's right. Because if you collect all the boxes and die, it will just register you as just beating the level normally, and you will not get the gem. But yeah, the Insane Trilogy on like the PS4 and Xbox One, yeah, they fixed this issue so you can die as many times as you want and can still collect all the boxes. But yeah, in this original, you must do it perfectly, and it is an absolute nightmare, particularly in the later half of the game, where the game at times like it expects perfection, and there's boxes where you can't see unless you backtrack. But yeah, the first Crash game, despite a few of its flaws, I'd say it's a good entry to the series. But I will say though, the series with the second game would get a hell of a lot better, and quite frankly, yeah, here we go. Is Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. Now, when I was a kid, I thought Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped was the best game, and for the longest time, it was my all-time favorite video game. It is not now, but I will explain that in just a few minutes. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot 2, for me, I've got to be honest with you, playing it, this is Crash Bandicoot's best game. And what the first game did, this one did it 10 times. Actually, no, not 10 times, 100 times better. Because not only can you use you can use the analog stick on this for much smoother movement, because the controls on Crash 1 are a little bit clunky, but you can say that for a lot of early PS1 games. But yeah, this one came out a year after, and it ironed out some of the issues that the first game had. Like, for example, you could go to like a certain warp room, and yeah, you could play any level. You could choose any level and play them in any order. Though there are some levels where you may have to backtrack later on to get like the extra like colored gems, which of course, if you collect all the colored gems, the colored gems can also lead you to like secret areas and other parts of levels that you were not able to access. And of course, they introduced the death routes, where it'll only appear if you don't die. The death route will appear if you don't die and have already accessed the area where it appears. But everything about Crash 1 was made even better here. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. All these games are complete, even though the manuals seem better. They just look at that, just fallen to pieces. But to be fair, I've had this game since childhood, so yeah. But the reason why it's my favorite Crash game is because the stages are well designed, and the difficulty for the most part is extremely fair. Going for 100% is still a challenge, but it's a lot more forgiving, since if you die whilst collecting all the boxes, at least you don't have to restart the level again like you do on Crash 1. So you can still get the gem for all the boxes and die as many times as you want. So thankfully they sorted that out. But of course, we are going to go on to Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, which is obviously the third game in the series, is usually the most ambitious one. I mentioned this with Tomb Raider 3, and it didn't quite work out as well as it did for the first two. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot 3. So yeah, when I was a kid, I thought this was the greatest game of all time. I really did, because the amount of variety that you get. I mean, this is more. This is more of Crash Bandicoot 2, but here, yeah, Crash gets extra abilities he has like a bazooka that shoots fruit. As the game calls it calls the fruit Wumpa fruit, and it's been in the Crash games since its beginning in '96. So yeah, this for me was like absolutely perfect when I was a kid, because there was like extra levels. There's like flying levels where you have to like shoot down planes and blimps, and then you have like a water ski level where you play as Crush's sister Coco. You have the bike levels, which on paper sound fun, but the controls are a bit clunky for them. And then you have Coco riding on a tiger on the Great Wall of China. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting levels, because this game involves a lot of time traveling. Like you have medieval based levels, Egyptian ones, futuristic, and like prehistoric ones. But guess what? I mean, and you're thinking, oh yeah, it's not the only third game to do that. Yeah, there's the other game. One of the other games that has time travel periods, and is quite frankly an absolute pile of wank, is Renegade 3, whether it be for the ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64, and Amstrad. Yeah, that game is absolute bollocks. But like I say, this game, for me, when I was a kid, I thought there was nothing quite like it. But I got back to it a few years later, and I'm like, nah, it's okay. I'll be honest with you, I still think this is a very good game, but I just don't think it's like the 10 out of 10 that I thought it was back then, because there are quite a few levels that I'm not too keen on, particularly the bike levels, since they don't control the best. And then we have like the skiing. I mean, the water ski levels with Coco, they're alright, but I don't know. But a lot of this game to me just felt a little bit filler, if you know what I'm saying. A little bit filler, like Crash Bandicoot 2 was all killer and no filler. Whereas this one, yeah, the time traveling aspect does, I don't know, it does run its course, I'll be honest with you. But one thing I do like, and this is good for testing your skills if you beat the game later on, like you can do the time trials to see how fast you can do a level, and some of them you need to have incredible skill if you are able to obtain the platinum relics, which are like some of the platinum relics are actually quite easy, but there's a few that are just really brutally hard. And in fact, there's some that I've missed out on by milliseconds, because I end up getting really bad cramp in my thumbs from doing so. But yeah, there's 3 different types of relics. The sapphire one's just the normal one, which everyone can get. The sapphire relics are just your standard ones. Then there's the gold ones that are better than the sapphire ones, because you get a gold one if you do it faster than the sapphire relic. And then the platinum ones are the ones where you have to do the level as fast as you can without making mistakes. In fact, there's some levels where they expect you to be 100% perfect. If you're not quite 100%, then you might miss out on getting the platinum. And yeah, you do get a good ending if, yeah, in all the levels, the game expects you to at least collect at least the gold relic in Crash 3. to get the best ending, at least a gold. Because even if you just have one sapphire relic, you won't get that ending because the game expects you to get at least a gold or possibly even a platinum if you can. But yeah, the game itself is still loads of fun. Just Crash Bandicoot 2 did it better, and it didn't need stupid time traveling gimmicks. So anyway, but yeah, that's my talk on the Crash Bandicoot games for the PS1. Because I gotta be honest with you, the Crash Bandicoot series after that took a bit of a nosedive. I'll be honest with you. But before it took a nosedive, Naughty Dog decided to make one more last Crash game, and it wasn't a platformer. Instead, they made it a kart racing game. And let me tell you, they did an absolutely brilliant job with Crash Team Racing. Absolutely superb. And I know where this game gets a lot of comparisons to Mario Kart and Diddy Kong Racing. But if I had to choose between those three games, it would be this, hands down. Yeah, Mario Kart 64 may be great for multiplayer. Diddy Kong Racing would be great. Is great for like the variety you get driving the vehicles. But nah, Crash Team Racing, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, a great adventure mode, and there's plenty of multiplayer options too. You get like the battle modes and the split screen multiplayers, which, as I say, it still holds up extremely well. I mean, I could talk about this game all day, but I can't. But all I can say is this game is just fucking brilliant from start to finish. But is it my favourite racing game on the PlayStation 1? I'm going to say no. It's a close second, but my favourite racing game on the PlayStation 1 is Ridge Racer Type 4. And I'll be talking about that when I come to do the PS1 collection in the foreseeable future. But yeah, that was the final Naughty Dog Crash game, and what a swan song, because there was one more Crash game on the PS1, but this time it was bought over by I think it was Eurocom and Traveller's Tales who did Crash Bash, which was a party game with Crash Bandicoot characters. Yeah, because they were trying to copy the Mario Party games that were on the Nintendo 64, and the Mario Party games. I haven't played many of them, but they are tons of fun, especially Mario Party 2. If you haven't played that game, then I recommend giving it a go. Even though I don't have a Nintendo 64 anymore, but it's worth a good go. So yeah, but yeah, the only difference with Crash, there's a difference between Mario Party and Crash Bash is that Mario Party is fun, Crash Bash is not fun at all. Due to its insane difficulty, especially for a kids game. And a lot of people in the Crash Bandicoot community refuse to play it because of how difficult and how unfair the challenges are, especially for the single player. And they said that 200% will break you. Well, I remember playing. I had Crash Bash as a kid though, and I got rid of it because I don't know. I just did not get on with that game at all. I mean, I didn't mind it too much when I was doing the multiplayer, but the single player mode was just some of the most miserable experiences I've ever had. I mean, it has ideas for it to be a good, fun party title, but the difficulty just prevents it from being something that could be greater. It does have its fans. I'm just not one of them. And then the Crash Bandicoot games go on to the PlayStation 2 with Rafa Cortex. And this is one Crash game that it divides opinion. It really does, and you know what? It had it. Yeah, I can't even speak today. It has a you can have a good discussion with people on it because there are some people who absolutely love it, others who are like, nah, it's mediocre, and then there's others who just absolutely hate it. But yeah, I had Rafa Cortex on the PlayStation 2. In fact, it was the very first PS2 game I ever got. So, yeah. And yeah, I remember at the time, I knew then it wasn't as good as the previous Crash games on the PS1, but I remember at the time I quite enjoyed it, though there were some things about it that did rub me the wrong way. And I went back to playing it a few years after, and I don't know, I couldn't get on with it. I mean, it does everything that a Crash Bandicoot game is supposed to do, but at that point the series just felt a bit tired, and it the Crash Bandicoot trilogy on the PS1, what I felt that was enough because Rafa Cortex had a lot of interesting ideas, but there was a lot of stuff in that game that could have been executed a lot better. Yeah, particularly the bosses, because if you don't know, instead of fighting all the different random bosses like you did in Crash, well, the previous Crash games like Dingo Dial and Engine, for example, you're fighting against Crash's cousin, Crush, every single time. Every fight involved him, including the final boss with Dr. Cortex, and I was like, for fuck's sake, I want a bit more variety with the bosses. And yeah, the game itself is quite glitchy as well. And yeah, I had it on the PlayStation 2. It was the original Black Label version. And you're thinking, oh yeah, does it matter? Yes, in this case it does matter. Normally, a Black Label game or a Platinum Label game doesn't bother me, but in Rafa Cortex, there's quite a bit. There's a few differences, but one of the biggest differences is the loading times. The loading times on the Black Label ones take an eternity. Yet on the Platinum release, they somehow managed to reduce the loading times, which is great because there were times where I'm not kidding you. There were times where I was waiting a good 30 seconds for the actual level to load up, which was a joke. I mean, I had the original Black Label copy because my brother as well. He had his own PS2. He had the Platinum copy, and yeah, the differences between the loading times and the differences between the loading times were night and day. It's odd though, isn't it? But yeah. Yeah, graphically for a PS2 game, it looks fine enough. But if if it had come out in 2002, rather than getting it to be rushed out for Christmas of 2001, I think the game could have been even better. But the even some of Crash's physics have been severely downgraded. Like when it comes to like crawling on like ceilings, he does it at snail pace. And I'll tell you what, snails can go faster. Yeah, climbing on the bars in Crash Bandicoot 2 on the sewer levels, he can go at some speed, but I don't know. He just slumps on them. It is a bit annoying, but I mean, there are some people who will defend the game, and I don't blame them. But I don't know, a few of the flaws and all that lot, they put me off a little bit. There was Crash Nitro Kart, which is like Crash Team Racing, just not as good. Again, because they changed a couple of the physics. Then there was Crash Twin Sanity, a game that a Crash game that has good humour, but the game itself is riddled to bugs. And for the longest time, I have defended it because I'm thinking, it's a fun game and I like the characters, but the game itself is extremely flawed and it's not for me anymore, I'm afraid to say. And then there was Crash Tag Team Racing, where it combined platforming and like tag team races. And guess what? I remember I got that game probably not long after my PS2. And I'm not kidding you, I completed the game on 100% after 2 days of owning the game. I'm not even joking you. I wasn't even trying to go for 100%. The game was that fucking easy. I just got 100%. I played the game, I was a bit underwhelmed. And then after beating it, I was like, that was a waste of money. What a waste of money that was. And then I just gave up with the Crash Bandicoot games after that. Though I did dabble with the ones that did come out for like the Xbox 360, like it was Crash of the Titans, which, well, it's not terrible, but it's as mediocre as you can get. And the same with Mind Over Mutant, though graphically those games did look really nice. And then Crash pretty much retired. Then he came back with the Insane Trilogy, which is like the PS1 Crash games just with better graphics and all that lot. And he completely fucked up the physics. I'm sorry. I do not. Although the Insane Trilogy, they completely screwed up the physics, and because of that, the Insane Trilogy was even harder than the original Crash games on the PS1. And then, of course, there was a Crash Team Racing remake, which was Nitro Fuel, which it has its fans as well. But to be honest with you, as long as I got the original games, I don't really see the point in getting remakes. Particularly the Resident Evil 4 remake that has just come out. I mean, I've played the game on the PS2, which I still own. I love it. I had it on the Nintendo Wii. And you know what? It was fine enough. I've got the game here. But it's good that in some ways, yeah, it's good that they're doing remakes for the younger generation. But it's cheaper. But it'd be cheaper just buying a second-hand PS2 or a GameCube or, yeah. And you're just buying the original copy of Resident Evil 4. You're saving yourself quite a bit of money. Obviously, graphically, it isn't going to look as nice, but it'll most likely play much better. But I know people just raving about the new Resident Evil 4 remake, but it's already been remade on the PS4, so yeah, and they're charging people more for it, which is it's ridiculous. I sort of think if you want to play a game, if you haven't played Resident Evil 4, just play the original. You're saving yourself a hell of a lot of money, and you can save yourself even more money if you buy the Platinum Disc version of Resident Evil 4. Because that's it. I love that game to hell and back. I've completed it several times, but you know what? I don't think you should be buying a remake because, well, if you want to buy a remake, you can, but you're going to be spending more money on a game that is, well, when did Resident Evil 4 come out? 2005, I think it was. Yeah, it came out around that sort of time. But, you know what? I love the game so much. I think it's perfect already, so I don't really want to buy a remake of a game that it works fine on its own, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But as I say, everyone has their own opinions on remakes and all that lot, and If you haven't played Resident Evil 4 and just want to play a remake, go ahead. But I don't know, the game itself, most remakes in my opinion are extremely overpriced. So yeah. And then, oh yeah, I forgot to mention Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time, which of course that got released in, was it 2000? I think it was it 2019 or 20? No, I think it was. Actually, no, I think it might have been 2021. I'm not too sure. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot 4 though. I mean, I personally haven't played it myself because I don't know. I felt as if the Crash series. I don't know. I feel as if Crash has just completely run out of ideas. For me, I just need the free game. I'm just happy with the games on the PlayStation 1, if I'm being honest with you. Like I am with certain franchises, like I'm trying to think of franchises that were great on the PS1, but over time got worse and deteriorated. Silent Hill though, but Silent Hill 2 and 3 on the PS2 were absolutely excellent. So I think that's it for the game talk. But like I say, even though I haven't played any video games for a while, I thought, you know what, I'll just talk about some of my favorite games. But yeah, the PS1 Crash games is my favorite platform series of games. And so Crash 3 was my favorite platformer. It's now Crash 2. Yeah, wasn't expecting this conversation about this series to be that long, but when you're passionate about something, then that's it. You just you just go off into a random waffle, and that's it. So yeah. Anyway, what else has been going on? Well, I'll quickly talk about the football, and yeah. But no, on Sunday, Tottenham sacked Antonio Conte as manager because of their poor run of form. But you know what? I do feel a little bit sorry for Antonio, and the reason why I do feel sorry for him is because he is right about Tottenham. He's saying about Tottenham. Tottenham is a club that just can't win anything, and he is absolutely spot on, saying that saying that Tottenham just don't want to win anything, and he went off in a proper rant. Yeah, this was after the game against Southampton, which ended up in a 3-3 draw. And yeah, a game that you would think Tottenham would win, especially when Southampton are looking likely to be relegated. I think they will. But yeah, they had a 3-1 lead and he absolutely blew it. And to rub salt into the wounds and insult to injury, yeah, the former Arsenal man Theo Walcott scored against him. Yeah, you don't get any better than that. But he was saying that Tottenham don't win anything and that his players are selfish. But yeah, I feel his passion. You know, is his football exciting? And no, but saying that Tottenham isn't exactly an exciting team to watch. In fact, even when I was a kid, even before the managers like him, Mauricio Pochettino, and Harry Redknapp, I've always found them to be boring. I mean, okay, the football under Pochettino actually wasn't too bad because at least he guided Spurs to a Champions League final, which my team Liverpool we beat in the final. But yeah, but ever since Daniel Levy's been in charge of Tottenham, yeah, he's been the chairman since 2001. Guess how many trophies they have won during that time? You want to guess? Well, I'll leave you to have a guess. But what's happened in that time since his 01? Leicester City have won the Premier League, and that was in 2016. Tottenham haven't won the league during that time anyway, and because I'll tell you how many trophies they won under his ownership. One. That's right, one. And that was the 2008 League Cup final against Chelsea, where they won 2-1 in added extra time. So but that's the only trophy since his takeover. And Tottenham have been in title chasing the title. And this season where they were challenging Leicester to the title, which of course Leicester won, they looked like they were the only team that could challenge them, but they managed to fuck it up at the end of the season when they were losing games. Yeah, and they lost 5-1 to Newcastle, and eventually Arsenal beat them to second place. So and the last FA Cup win was 1991. So that was 32 years ago. And then that makes me laugh about some Spurs fans. I mean, I'm talking about like a very, 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 very small, like a very minute minority. They laugh at like the likes of Liverpool and Manchester United for failing to win a league title or anything. But guess what? They should keep their mouth shut, because their last league title, this is no joke whatsoever, their last league title, get ready for this, was 1961. Yep, that's right, the Beatles weren't even out. The Beatles weren't even in the charts then. So the last time Tottenham won the league, the charts were being dominated by the likes of Elvis Presley, the Shadows, and I'm trying to think of some other singers at the time. Well, Johnny Cash. Yeah, and then they have the absolute cheek to have a go at other football fans for not winning the league. I mean, if you're gonna criticise other teams, Tottenham, go and win the bloody league for yourself. But they won't, because they're a club that just goes on and they go in a circle. Yeah, and Conte says that the players have no respect and all that. I do agree with that, but I know a lot of people will say that he shouldn't have to call them out in public. But the thing is, who else is going to criticise the players? No one, because the players themselves won't accept any accountability. I mean, I think the only person who's played well for Tottenham this year, I'll be honest with you, is Harry Kane. And he could be on his way to Manchester United in the summer, or depending where he wants to go, because a player like him, he's wasting his talent at a club. And the thing is, he could be the greatest ever Premier League player of all time to have never won the league. Yeah, so it'd be a bit like Steven Gerrard, which, I mean, it hurts me to say, but yeah, it'd be like that. I mean, Alan Shearer has won more Premier League titles than Harry Kane has, and the Tottenham. And as well, his title came with Blackburn Rovers in '95. It's sad, and yet there's other players who are selfish. I mean, what made me laugh was Richarlison. Yeah, he left Everton in the summer to join Spurs. And he said that he'd been trying his absolute best for Tottenham, saying that he's been playing well and everything. I mean, okay. I mean, if you want to believe that, fine, you must be on glue. But he's saying that, oh yeah, I've played really well for Spurs. What by scoring 0 goals in the league? Yeah, he scored twice, but that was in the Champions League against Marseille. And he said that he's been playing well. He says that he deserves respect. Well, respect is something that must be earned. So, yeah. I mean, if you're supposedly claiming that you're playing better than that, where's the evidence to back it up with? You can't just say I'm doing well, yet don't provide the goods to show it. Yes, he said, "No, I've been playing really well." I'm like, "You're not." But I tell you what, his attitude, his his attitude since joining Spurs is absolutely disgraceful. I mean, to be fair, I didn't really like some of his behaviour at Everton because he was like rolling around on the floor and everything. But ever since he's got paid even more money, he's become far more up his own arse compared to what he used to be. And then he has a go at Conte for not giving him respect. Well, like I say, respect is something that must be earned, and at least if you're going to criticize, if you don't like the criticism, fuck off and get out the club. I mean, I can't tolerate people who just cannot handle constructive criticism. Sometimes it does have to be a little bit harsh, but things do get done. But if you can't handle it, then I expect things to get worse. Yeah, expect consequences. But yeah, he complained about it, calling the players out in public, and then for speaking the truth, yeah, he gets sacked. Yeah, I could understand why people won't like it if he was calling the team out during like a press conference in front of the public, but sometimes, whether you agree with it or not, sometimes if you have something on your chest, get it out of the way. If you make a wrong judgment for it, if you make a mistake about it and have annoyed people, then so be it. You learn. You learn from you learn from past mistakes. Though recently, a lot of these footballers don't learn from past mistakes and keep doing the same crazy and outrageous stuff over and over again, and then blame everyone else for their problems. Like, yeah, yeah, overpaid narcissists. But it's just the way it is. But yeah, he got sacked for speaking the truth. But I don't know. I do think there are teams who've been worse than Tottenham. Even my team, Liverpool, as I've addressed many a time. So yeah, we shall see how the end of the season goes, and that will be that. But anyway, I think I will call this vlog an end here. It is great to be back, and I really, really thank you for all the kind messages and the support in recent months. Like I say, I don't expect it, but it's a nice feeling when someone appreciates the time and effort that you put in. Though I will admit, I mean, if I had more time, I probably would have had a few more videos on the channel, but I've just been too busy, and the lack of motivation from previous vlogs just didn't help. But hopefully you should be seeing more vlogs from me, because I'm confident. Yeah, they'll be back in full force. Though I'm remembering now not to force myself to do it, because if you're going to force yourself to do something, then clearly you're not enjoying it at all. You're just making yourself feel down in the dumps. And yeah, I felt a bit down, but I'm feeling much better now. And I think now that I got a new pair of glasses, it certainly has helped. So anyway, I hope you all have a good day, and I shall see you next time. Take care.